might say that I'm a loner, but I just call it being free. I am my heart's only owner.
Hey everyone, I'm Calvin with Southern Country Living.
And I'm Marie.
And today we're going to be doing a video that we've been promising for about 2 months now. And it's a question and answer video. We put out on one of our Sunday chats that we would do question and answers. And we asked you to submit all of your questions. And we got a lot of questions. I was really surprised at how many questions we got. And so because Marie hadn't been feeling good, and I've had some days I didn't feel good, it's took us this long to get around to doing it. But you are feeling better today, aren't you, Marie?
Yeah.
And she'll have her good days and her bad days still, but today is a fairly good day.
Yeah.
Big smile, Marie. Okay, so we do have a lot of questions. I was going to go through and try to put them in an order that would make more logical sense as far as timeline, but then I got thinking about it and I said, well, I'm just going to do it in the order that the questions came in. And so it may seem like I'm repeating some things over. We'll just go through and see what we get. But the first question that we got was, any special do's and don'ts for garden soil? And so that question, of course, my garden's already gone now. But no, I didn't have anything special for that. Every year that we had a garden living here where we live, I would just plow it up, and I would put some fertilizer on it. Usually I used 13, 13, 13, and I'd spray a little bit of that on it. And a couple of years I did put lime on it. Yeah. But that was years ago. The last couple of years, one year I put a lot of mulch around everything, and that seemed to help. But to be honest with you, we've got this big tree out back that's grown up so much that it's shading our yard part of the day. And so I'm really not interested in even trying to have a garden next year unless we go back to doing what we used to do years ago. When we had the garden down the bottom, there's no trees down there.
No, but there is crows, and they used to really get our garden, and the deers come through there too. So if you do have a garden, I advise you to build the biggest fence you possibly can and lock it.
Well, the deers, they do love our garden.
They do.
Okay, second question. What equipment do we use making videos? Well, when we very first started off, I had just a little bitty, what they call a point and shoot camera. It was a little Panasonic. And I made videos for about a year with that camera until it completely died. Yeah. And but we have evolved up, and my primary camera that you're watching right now is a Canon. It's called a DSLR camera, and the particular model number is T5i. And I've had this camera for several years. I love it. I like it so much that I bought another one just like it. And I'll switch from one to the other right now. Now you're watching the original camera right now. And then this camera over here is the second one that I bought. And we use this second camera for a lot of our overhead shots. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy switching back and forth between the two cameras. And so I thought I'd set them both up today and show you how that works. We also have what's called a Rode Go mic that we use. It's a wireless microphone. We've got another Canon camera that we use for overhead shots when we're cooking over the oven. And then I've got the GoPro 11 that we use when we go off. And so that's pretty much most of our equipment that we use. Third question is, what editing software do we use? And I use what's called a Power Director 19. Now they do have a newer version. The newer version you have to pay monthly for it. But I love the Power Director 19. It works fine for me, and so I just use it. I bought it couple of years ago, and I don't have to pay anything extra for it. We had several people ask this question. I'll let Marie answer this one. Any progress on making a cookbook?
Not really, because I don't know. I started off just cooking, and making videos. And I have a lot of recipes, which it would be nice to have a cookbook, but I know that it takes so much time and effort. And at this age in my life, I don't know if I want to put all the time and effort in it. So as of right now, there isn't any progress at all, but my granddaughter has mentioned to help us start one if we wanted to, but nothing's in the works right now.
Right. We've actually got 2 granddaughters that have said they would help if we wanted to do it.
And she said it would be really easy because we have all of our recipes in the computer and we have all the pictures in there. But as of right now, we just hadn't done it.
Not yet. Okay, next question. I'm having to read my own writing, so y'all bear with me, because I wrote this down a couple of months ago. The most fondest memory of when we were dating that sealed the deal.
Oh, me. Well, I know what sealed the deal for me, and I'll let Calvin answer what sealed the deal for him. When we used to ride the church bus to Trinity Baptist Church, because we're Baptists and that's the church that we went to, and they came around and picked up children in the neighborhoods. And so Calvin was sitting next to this girl, I won't call her name, because their family may watch this and she's already passed away. But he was sitting next to her on the bus. And so I thought that he liked me because he always showed interest in me and everything, but I just really wasn't interested at that time. So when I seen him sitting next to her, my heart sunk into my stomach. And so I thought, well, that, I really do care a lot about him and I need to let him know. And so that's what sealed the deal for me, when I really realized that I needed to let him know that I liked him, because evidently he had given up on me because he was sitting next to her. So anyway.
And you asked me, what time is it, Calvin?
Yes, and this is what sealed it for Calvin.
Well, actually, for me, the very first time that I met Marie, I mean the absolute very first time I met her, I said to myself then, that's the girl that I want to spend my life with. And so I chased her for a long time till she finally let me catch her. Okay. We had a lot of fun back in those days.
We did.
Okay, let's see. Next question. Did Marie work outside the home?
I did occasionally and everything, but it just really never did work out for our family for me to work outside the home. And Calvin, it didn't work out for Calvin at all. So he really preferred me to stay at home. And actually, I really didn't like being away from my children. And so I didn't really have to work. Money wasn't, we didn't have a lot of it, but we stayed on a budget and we had everything we need, and we thought it was more important to be with the children. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did, and I really am glad that I did, because I really have all those special memories with them, and I wouldn't go back for anything at all and try to have a career or do anything like that. No, I'm not throwing off on y'all that do have y'all's careers and everything, because everybody's different, and every family is different, so you just have to judge what's right for you.
That's right. Okay, next question. What did Calvin do before retiring? I worked hard.
Absolutely.
In my early years, I started off working in the cable TV industry, and I was the head technician for about 10 years here in our local town. But then I moved on and went into working as a contractor, being self-employed. So I spent 33 years being self-employed before I retired, and it was primarily in the cable TV industry and the satellite TV industry.
And I helped Calvin in those particular businesses too.
She did.
And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had an outside job. And so it really benefited our family for me to be where I could also work in your businesses.
Yes, and during that time, we also had, for about a 13-year period, when video movie rentals was popular, we did have a video rental store, and it was, the name of it was Marie's Video, and I thought that sounded a lot better than Calvin's Video.
And I worked in that during the day when the children were in school, and so
Yeah.
that worked out for us.
Yeah, and then also later in my career, I did have a used car lot for about maybe 4 years, and we ended up selling a lot of cars on credit, and that just about ruined me right there. That turned me against the car business as much as I love buying and selling old used trucks and stuff like that.
And I also worked in the office answering the phone and everything when he had to be out of the office, and I had to, when people come in, I had to tell them the prices of cars and different things like that. So it wouldn't have benefited me if I had an outside job either, because I helped us in that.
And she also helped when I sold satellites also, not just worked on them. I sold them.
Yeah, and I did too.
She sold a lot of satellites. People would come in and talk to her,
Yeah.
and they'd buy them in a heartbeat. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
I think everybody was impressed with you the way I was.
Oh.
Okay, next,
There was Uniden and Drake, and
that was our main brands back those
right
days,
now.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of people to this day don't think that I ever worked, and it's amazing to me that they don't know that, because I helped in the businesses and everything like that, but they think that I was always a stay-at-home mom. But I was a stay-at-home mom a lot of times, but I did work with your and my businesses.
Right. Okay, next question, we got this several times, is how long have we been married? Marie, do you know the answer to that?
Let's see.
It's been so long it's easy to forget, isn't it?
I know it's
We've been married
52
52 years. And so we got married in 1971.
Yeah, and I was still going to high school, y'all, and Kevin was in the Army.
Yeah. And so now, next question. How do you stay in love with each other? Marie.
Well, the reason I stay in love with him is, he's just a perfect mate. He doesn't drink, cuss, or smoke. What more could you ask for?
Well, I just stayed in love with you because you're just so sweet and precious.
Aw.
And like I said, I loved her ever since the first day I met her. So, okay, I keep wanting to flip pages here, but I still got several questions on this page. Next question. How did I learn to make videos?
Yeah.
Well, that was just, I had worked in electronics all my life, and I loved taking pictures, so I just started making videos, and it really wasn't anything to it for me. It was real easy, and I basically self-taught myself.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Where do I find the community post? Okay, now that question, I've answered that quite a few times, but if you're using your telephone or if you're using your computer or a laptop, just click on where it says Southern Country Living for our channel name. Click on that, and that will open up our page. And then when it opens our page, about in the middle of the screen, you'll see where it lists as videos and a couple other things. And just go across there to where the tab says Community. Click on Community, and it'll open up another page and show all of our community posts. And whenever we're busy, or if we have something special that happens, or if we're sick and can't post a video, I can use my phone and put a community post on in just a few seconds, and that helps me to let everyone know what's going on. Okay, next question. Where do I find Addison's mom's channel? Okay, that's Kimberly, and her channel name is The Moates Family. And what I will do, I'll put a link in the description of this video. So just go down to the bottom where it says More, open it up, you'll see the description. And in there, I'll put a link that'll take you directly to Kim's channel. And her husband's channel, Jonathan, his channel is called Crosscut Carvings. And he does a lot of wood carving and teaches people how to do wood carving. And he likes to demo his knives and show his knives.
I'll show y'all some of the things that he carves right here.
Okay, and I'll put a link into his channel also.
I have some of his carvings right here.
Yeah, and these are some of his, I would say earlier carvings,
Yeah.
but we've had these for several years.
Yeah, this is a little Santa Claus. You know, he's gotten so much better too, and I don't know how you can get much better than this.
Yeah, and he sells a lot of his carvings.
And he's won, I think he's won some ribbons.
Yeah, he has. And right now, this weekend, they're up in Pigeon Forge right now, and they're up there at a carving show, and he took a whole lot of carvings up there to sell. And I think from what I was told, he's already sold every one of them. So he sells them pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What were our Christmas traditions? And I guess we're talking about back when we were young, Marie.
Okay, let me see if I can remember back that far. Well, I remember we always had our dinners on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
That was back a long time ago, but we changed it through the years.
Yeah.
But we had them on Christmas Eve, and then all the family got together, and we just did like most people do. We ate and opened up presents and just had a great time. And some of the traditions that I did was like, back then I would read the Christmas story, and then also I would always decorate our Christmas tree. This is a tradition that we have too. Like right after Halloween, well, really sometimes on the day of Halloween, but it's mostly the next day, we would put up the Christmas tree. We like to do it a little bit earlier so we can have more time through the holiday season, and that part is done. The decorating is, that's why we do it.
And sometimes at our dinner, we had a few years that we had 33 people here at this house for Christmas dinner. Now, a lot of the years it was only maybe 25 to 28, but there was a few years there that we had 33 people here.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question, Marie. What happened in 2015? And Marie, if you'll let me answer that, I'll answer that for you, okay?
All right. He remembers details a whole lot more than I did because of everything I went through.
Yes, and I'm not going to give you all the details because some of this Marie would like to keep private. Yeah. But basically what happened in 2015, Marie was having a lot of pain and hurting. She had some tests ran, and she had a tumor that was actually growing off of her spine. And that tumor, when they did the blood work, they suspected that it was cancerous. But then she had the PET CAT scan done, and the PET CAT scan showed that that tumor was not cancer, but she had cancer in another part of her body. So she had surgery to remove the tumor. She had surgery to move the cancer. And then after that, she developed an infection, and she was in the hospital for almost 2 weeks with an infection.
I also had a hysterectomy.
Well, that was
within all of that too.
Yeah, hysterectomy. And so she had an open wound that took about 2 months to completely heal.
Yeah.
Once all that finally healed up, then she had to go through radiation and chemotherapy. I believe the way they did chemotherapy first, and then they did radiation. So it took her almost a year to go through all those treatments, and it was very difficult on her body. She still, even today, has problems that's related to what happened in 2015. And like I said, we're not going to talk about that particular part, but that's one of the reasons that she was in the hospital just last week, and it's why she had to go to the emergency room 3 weeks ago. Okay, so, but that's telling enough to let people know you had cancer in 2015 and you have side effects from the surgery that we still would deal with daily.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. When did we meet? Now, several people asked this question. When did we meet and know you were meant for each other? We sort of basically answered that already, Marie. The first time we met was on the church bus.
Yeah.
And Marie was sitting with another girl that I knew, and I had known her since I was probably about 12 years old. And
Calvin and all these other girls.
at this particular time, I was about 15 when we met.
Yeah.
And so the other girl, she introduced me to Marie. And she told me just a little bit about Marie. She said, Marie's a sweet girl, but she's a little bit shy. Well, what she didn't know was that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And I just fell in love with Marie from day one. But that's how we met. Okay, next question. Calvin, any professional training in photography? No, but I need some professional training in English because I can't speak plainly. But no, never had any professional training in photography.
You're just a natural.
Okay, so next question. How long have we had the YouTube channel and whose idea and why? I actually started the YouTube channel around the time that Marie had her surgery. I started recording little video clips, and my grandson Michael, he's the one that suggested to me. He said, Pops, said, you need to start putting these videos on YouTube. He said, you can actually get paid for putting videos on YouTube. Well, at that time I was retired and didn't have anything else to do, and when you say you can get paid and make some money, that my eyes light up. And so anyway, I pursued it. It was Michael's idea. He suggested it to us, but I put the work and effort into it, and we did it primarily just to have a record of a place to see all the videos of everything that was going on. And I said, well, I might make a little money off of it on the side too. Yeah. So as it continued to grow, when it got up to about 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers, Marie was just starting to feel better, and she said, Calvin, I bet if I was to start doing some cooking videos, our channel would do real good. Well, Marie was right, because she started doing cooking videos, and the channel has really grown ever since then. And so I help her as much as I can.
He's actually doing most of it right now, but I really would be doing it if I could stand up longer, but I'm hoping that all the treatments that I'm getting will gradually help me. But
okay. The next question, is Addison Cynthia's granddaughter? Yes, that is correct, and I'll give you a little rundown. This is Marie. She is Mary Marie, and our daughter is Cynthia Marie, and Cynthia's daughter is Kimberly Marie, and Kim's daughter is Addison Marie. And I just found out a couple of days ago when Addison went up to the Cabbage Patch place. I called it a factory, but I think it's called a Cabbage Patch hospital or something like that. And she got her little baby. She named her baby Anna Marie. And so I thought that was pretty sweet.
And she came to our house this week with her little baby and her little stroller, and she's pushing it around. She's having so much fun with it.
Okay. So next question. I'm trying to move through as quick as I can so the video won't be too terribly long. Next question. Vacations when our children were young.
We went to the Disney, is it Land or World?
I'm not sure. It's one in Florida.
It's the one in Florida, y'all. We always get that one messed up. Okay, we went there, and we went to the mountains a lot, and let's see.
We made one trip out to New Mexico.
Yeah, and we went to Juarez, Mexico.
Yeah, we actually went into Mexico while we were there.
So we left the country, we can say.
We probably would have made more trips out west like that, but while we were on our trip and we were in Texas, we was in a town called Big Springs, Texas. we had a cattle truck that ran into the back of our car on the interstate there. And so that really caused us concern. We wasn't too excited about making long distance
I know
traveling
what the
after
traffic
that.
was horrible.
Yeah.
And anyway.
But we were
that's-
lucky no one got hurt bad or anything
No,
like
I
that.
just got a little crick in my neck, but that was nothing.
Okay. So next question, do we remember and talk about the good times?
All the time.
That's all we do.
When you get older, you do, but it's really good to have your memories, but it's also good to live in the now.
Absolutely. Okay. So next question, how many siblings do you have? I'll let you do that one first, Marie.
I have 3 brothers, and I always wanted a sister, but I never had a sister. But I had the most amazing aunts, Glenda and Joan, and they were just like sisters, and they treated me just like I was their sister. And we always went to places, and they took me skating, and they were just great influences in my life. They're great cooks also.
Okay, and I came from a big family. I had a total of 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and then I had a half brother and a half sister.
Yeah.
And so I had a pretty big family, and I was the oldest of all of them.
I thought our family was big until I met Calvin.
Okay, next question, what was our favorite vacation? I don't know, because I enjoyed all of them.
Me too.
I can't say I had a favorite.
I enjoyed Disneyland or World, whichever. And I also enjoyed Florida, so it's really, and I also enjoyed going out west, but I didn't like the wreck. But
Well, I've
enjoyed
always,
them all too.
yeah, I've always enjoyed the mountains,
Yeah.
and we did go up to the Smoky Mountains quite a few times.
Yeah, and we still
And
do, and we
I
can't
think-
wait to do it now.
Yeah, I think it's our favorite place to go
Yeah, I
is
do
up to the
too.
mountains.
Yeah.
And,
It sure has grown though since the children were small.
okay, and that covered one of the questions was what was our favorite memories of vacation, so that's the
Yeah,
same
so
thing.
we answered that.
Okay, next question. Marie, what kind of cancer did you have?
I had endometriosis cancer, and so it was really it was challenging to go through it. But what don't kill you makes you stronger.
Okay, Calvin, are you singing in any of the videos?
That's always amazing to me.
We
Me
had to
and
laugh
Calvin-
about that one, didn't we?
Yeah, me and Calvin are not singers, but we enjoy everyone who does sing.
Yeah, I wished I could sing, but I can't sing, so. Okay, next question. This is a good question here. What's your top 3 bits of advice for a happy marriage?
Well, let's see. It's what everybody says, never go to bed angry.
That's number 1, yeah.
Number 2 is we're very compatible, but we're also opposites too. So I guess know the person that you're marrying. Don't just rush into it. I dated Kevin for 3 years before we got married, so I knew that he was the one. And let's see, did I say don't go to bed angry? Did I
Right.
say that?
Yeah.
So I'll let you do the third one.
But the third thing is have respect for the one you're married to. If you disagree on something, work it out. Don't get angry and mad and fuss and fight and all that stuff. And
But,
so,
when we first got married, we had a lot of little things we had to work out. So some people think that, we never fuss or argue or anything like that, in which now we really don't, because we've been together so long that we just respect each other and everything. But when we were young, like a lot of marriages, there's little things you have to work out.
and it's almost always little
Yeah.
things, you have to
Yeah.
put it in perspective. Okay, next question. What do we do for fun?
Well, right now I can't walk. so what so I mostly watch a lot of YouTube because I don't like to think about all the things I can't do. So during the day I try to think about what I can do, and so that's what I try to get through the day with doing right now. And so that's my answer. What's yours?
Well, we have several things. One thing that I actually enjoy is making these videos and editing them. When I'm sitting there editing, I'm about as happy as I can be at that time. But we have a particular game that we love to play. It's called Words with Friends.
Yeah.
And Maria and I will play that game quite a bit together. I have a hobby. I like to collect coins. So I will spend a lot of time looking at coins sometimes on the internet and stuff. And then Marie loves to paint. And she don't do it as much now as she used to. But y'all, some of you probably remember I put that picture of the cardinal on the refrigerator that she painted back in 2015 before she got sick, I believe.
Yeah, I used to really enjoy it. I was doing a lot of sketching and stuff like that, but I don't like to sound like a broken down person, but you know, your eyes get a little dim when you start getting older and stuff. So some of your hobbies, they just kind of go to the wayside, but I used to really love to read, and I still read until, you know, I say, well, my eyes are bothering me, so I can't read now. So.
Well, we got one of our bedrooms that used to belong to our son.
Yeah.
And it has basically become a library.
Yeah,
It is completely full of books.
And that our barn out back up in the top is completely full of books, all the books that I read. But I hadn't been up there in years, but I'd hate to go up there and know that the moths have ate them all up because, you know, I've read.
I don't think they've bothered your books. I think your books are still okay.
I know we put them in boxes and everything, but, you know, bugs can get into anything.
Right. Okay, so next question. Where is our favorite place to travel? We've already answered that.
Yeah.
We like going to the mountains.
Yeah.
Next question. Favorite vegetable and flower to grow? Okay, I love growing tomatoes. I don't know what it is about tomatoes, but I just love seeing tomatoes grow. And that year that we planted those Juliet tomatoes, and I put 4 of them plants out there, we had so many Juliet tomatoes, I just couldn't believe it. And we were giving them to everybody we could imagine.
Yeah, and I was making salsa and stuff like that. And my favorite vegetables is I love cucumbers and I love squash. Those are my favorite vegetables from the garden.
And cucumbers and squash are very easy to grow.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we ended up about 3 or 4 years ago, we had an invasion of squash bugs, and they just ate our squashes up. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, and the flower, we've never been real big into flowers, growing them, but on our front porch, we like to put begonias out there. That's one of the ones we've enjoyed.
Yeah, it's really heat resistant, and we get a lot of heat off of our roof.
On the front porch, yeah.
Porch.
But this year, we did plant the rose bushes.
Oh, they're beautiful.
And they have just done so good this year. And I told Maria I can't wait till it gets cold and I go out there and trim them down so I can watch them grow again next year.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. We've already answered this, but do you have disagreements or arguments?
Not so much now, but when we first got married, you know, like any new couple, you have to get used to each other, so we did. But we really get along great right now. I'm not going to say that we don't never disagree, because sometimes we do, but I can't even remember the last time, so.
Yeah, disagreements. We have disagreements, but we don't get into what we call an argument.
We talk
We
about
haven't had an argument in 30 years, I bet.
No.
Okay, next question. How many children do you have, or do we have?
We have 2, and I wish that we had 2 more or even more. But due to my health, I was only able to have 2, and the 2 that I got are just great. I couldn't ask for any better children.
Okay. Next question. Well, since we said how many children we had, too, we have 4 grandchildren, and we also have 4 great-grandchildren.
And my great-grandchildren, I love them just as much as I do my grandchildren. And I love my children, my great-grandchildren, and my grandchildren. I love them all. And I just don't have any favorites. They're just all very special.
Okay, next question. Marie, have you always enjoyed cooking, and did you learn from women in your family?
Yes, when I was little, I stayed a lot with my grandmother due to my mother's health a lot. My grandmother raised me a pretty good bit. Not all the time, but a pretty good bit, especially in the summer when school was out. And I watched my grandmother cook, and just all of the people in my family are good cooks. My mother was a really good cook, and my aunts were really good cooks, and so in our family we just had some great cooks.
And I remember when we were first married, and we'd go to her grandmother's house, and she would make some wonderful cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Next question. What made you decide to be YouTubers? We didn't really decide to be YouTubers. We were just putting videos on YouTube, and we didn't realize that how it was going to grow and what it became.
No.
It just sort of happened, didn't it, Marie?
Yeah.
I know now that a lot of young couples are starting YouTube channels with the intent of trying to become, popular and get big channels.
That never even crossed our minds.
No, we was just putting videos on, and
Yeah.
it just happened, sort of.
Yeah.
And okay,
And by no means are we big, but
we consider ourselves to be a small channel.
yeah.
But it does it catches us off guard sometimes when we'll be off somewhere and somebody say, "Hey, are y'all Calvin and Marie?"
I know, it's
And
very,
we run into people that recognize us quite often,
yeah.
and so
We're
we're
still-
shy.
Yeah.
We're shy, so it's hard to imagine us being on YouTube, but we are. Okay, next question. What church were we brought up in?
I've sort of already answered this. We were brought up Baptist, but oddly enough, a lot of people in our family are Church of God, and so we don't know how that happened, but it just happened.
Well, my grandfather was a preacher
Yeah.
in Church of God.
Yeah, and so me and Kevin were Baptist, so the church bus came by and got us, and my parents let us go. They hadn't been attending church for many, many years, but when they did go, they were Church of God, and so that's how that happened.
And I'm glad it turned out that way myself.
Well, every religion has a different, belief, and you just go to the church that you believe in, and the one, so everybody has their own church that they go to. I'm not going to knock down churches.
Okay, and so next question is, and we've already answered this, how are our rose bushes doing?
I think they're doing great because they're pretty. They're getting tall, so I know Kevin's going to have to do some pruning soon.
Yeah, they're at least 4 foot tall right now, and yesterday when I was out there looking at them, they are just loaded with roses. And this is October the 12th.
Yeah,
And it's just full of roses out there.
it is.
Okay, and then we had our next question. We're getting close to the end here, y'all, so hang in there with us a little bit longer. What size was our garden, and what did we grow, and how many rows of corn? Our garden was approximately 25 feet by 25 feet, and the last year it was 20 by 25, but this year it ended up being just a little bit bigger. And on corn, we had 3 rows of corn this year, and a lot of people say you need more than just 2 or 3 rows, but our corn did real good this year. That was one of the things that probably did the best besides the tomatoes. And we grew tomatoes, okra, corn. We had bell peppers. We had banana peppers. We had the what I call the 1941 peppers. Then we had squash and cucumbers, and that was about it, wasn't it, Marie?
Yeah, our tomatoes would have done a lot better, but we had two windstorms. One came from one direction and blew our tomatoes over one way. The next time a windstorm came and blew the tomatoes over the other way. So, that pulled them up from the roots a little bit. So we would have had a better crop of tomatoes if the wind hadn't have blown them in two different directions.
Okay. Now, Marie, I'll let you be thinking about that question right there
Reef.
before we get to it, but I'll go ahead and do this question here, okay? Okay, so next question. How long have you lived in your home? We've been here for 47 years, and I think that was one of the best decisions that we ever did when we were young.
Yeah.
We bought this house, and we actually paid for it twice. That's what we say. But I worked hard back in those days, and we got an original 30-year mortgage, and I paid the house off in 17 years.
Yeah.
But then, during the time that I had started a used car lot, I did go get another mortgage on the house, and I had to pay that off. I think I paid that off in 8 years.
Yeah.
But since we're retired, we're on Social Security. I was self-employed all those years, so I don't have a pension coming from another company. We just live strictly off of our Social Security. So it's a very good thing that we have a home that's paid for.
Yeah.
For the last 30-something years, we do not buy a car unless we pay cash for it. So we don't have any car payments, and we try to take care of our vehicles and make them last as long as we can. We've got a few people that we watch on YouTube that are what they call frugal YouTube channels, and we watch those, and of course the things that they're talking about doing,
We've done them all of our life.
we've been doing them all of our life, absolutely. And so there's a lot we could talk about there. There could be a whole video about that.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This one's really easy here. Your children's ages. Well, it's not as easy as I thought. My son, or our son, he's 51,
And Cynthia's 47.
and Cynthia's 47.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the last question, and this one actually just come in like a day or two ago, but I told them that we would go ahead and try to answer it, but it's going to be hard for me to answer this question. But what is your 3 favorite movies?
One of them is the all-time favorite classic, Gone with the Wind, is
Gone
one of
with the
mine.
Wind.
And let's see, I can't really think of any of the other movies that I like that much. I did like the scenery in Out of Africa.
Yeah.
And let's say another movie. I really don't know of another movie. I'm not that much of a movie buff or watcher.
I'm not either, but and I don't have really what I would say is favorite movies that I go back and watch over and over again.
Yeah.
But I can tell you a few movies that I remember that I really enjoyed when I did watch them. And one of them from a long time ago, and occasionally it'll come back up on TV as a rerun, but it was called The Poseidon Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
And I really enjoyed that movie. Another movie that I watched, I think I did watch this one several times, was Urban Cowboy. And then probably if I had to pick a favorite of all the movies I've ever watched, I would say it's probably Grease. I just always did
My
enjoy
daughter
that.
watched that movie all the time.
Yeah.
Her and her friend across the street, every time I'd go in the living room, that was
Yeah, and then of course from the time we were dating, Elvis was real popular back then.
yeah, I
and
forgot.
we went to
Yeah.
we went to drive-in theaters and we watched every Elvis movie there was.
all of Elvis Presley's movies were my favorite.
Yeah, and we can sit down right now and watch them again. Anytime they come on, we can watch
I
them.
know it, but back then they just seemed so, good and everything. But now that I can see why Elvis always wasn't satisfied with his movies. He thought some of them was kind of corny. now I understand what he was talking about. He wanted some really good roles, like James Dean and stuff
Well,
like that. But he he was great in anything he did.
Well, it's like me when we do a video, and I do a cooking video by myself, and when I get through and watch it back, I say, "Oh my Lord, that's so corny! I can't believe I did that." Or
Yeah, some of
can't believe
my
I
videos,
said that.
I know, some of our early videos are very corny.
But
you
that's
know,
us.
that's
Anything
what
you
it is.
see, that's what we are. That's what we do on a regular basis. We do edit videos occasionally. If we say something that's terribly stupid and we have to correct it, we'll
And,
do an edit.
Yeah, and everybody that does videos, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are considered professional, they have bloopers too.
Okay, well, that's all our questions, Marie. We're done.
And Kevin just showed me these questions just a few minutes before we did the video. And so, I didn't have time to think of any of the answers or anything. That's just off the top of my head. If I'd had more time, I could have maybe pondered a little bit about the movies that I liked. But
Yeah.
those two just came to my mind.
And in combination with us having a video rental store,
Yeah.
we had access to all the videos that was
Yeah.
available during that time period.
I didn't have time to watch
I
them.
didn't
but
either.
Our children did, and
Yeah.
everybody else apparently did, because we did pretty good in that business.
Yes, we did. I hate that business sort of played out a little bit,
I know.
but technology changes and
Yeah.
things change. Okay, I hope everyone enjoyed watching us do our question and answer video, and I hope that we were able to answer your question for you. I went through the list, and every question I found, I wrote it down as I found it, and that's how we went through them just now.
Yeah.
And I've noticed since we had talked about doing it a couple of months ago, I noticed a lot of channels have been doing question and answer videos in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So I guess we're in with the trend on that. But hope you enjoyed this. Be sure and leave a comment below and let us know that you watched it and you enjoyed it. And if there's anything particular about it that you enjoyed, tell us about it and let us know, because I'm sure a lot of y'all have been through the same experiences that we've been through. And be sure and give us a thumbs up. That's very important to just go down and click that thumbs up. That does help our channel continue to grow.
And if you're not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, we're at, I'll go ahead and say this today, I think we're at 58,300 and something today. And so our channel is growing slowly. I'm looking forward to us hitting 60,000 one day.
Yeah.
And so each one of you that's watching, you're helping us to grow. So if you've got a friend, tell your friend about our channel, and maybe they'll subscribe, and that'll help us grow a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the best part that I love about our channel. Marie, I'm going to let you close this video out. She started saying this a little bit, I'm not sure exactly what brought this about, years ago when she was cooking, but it sort of caught on real good, and we've been doing it ever since, haven't we, Marie?
Well, I notice a lot of people that does videos, they have something that they say at the end, and this is something that I always think about, and I do. So do what you love and love what you do. And so we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here